Yeah, of course, no one can predict the future, but tonight we're going to give it a try. What do we see as the biggest stories on the horizon for Detroit and the state of Michigan? All right, guys, I'm just going to open it up for you. So, what do we think? What are the biggest things that are going to take the headlines in the next couple of months, Nolan?
I mean, unless something unexpected happens, it'll be what we've been talking about. It seems like all winter. We still haven't got. I don't think we'll have an answer to the roads question. I think Prop 1 will fail, and then that's going to send Lansing into a real spin over what in the world to do. You can't just after the vote throw up your hands and say, we tried. I mean, they're going to have to come up with something. This nonsense that there is no plan B, well, there's going to have to be a plan B.
Well, and there is a plan B. I mean, we've seen these proposals to shift money around and get rid of certain taxes to send to roads is still very much alive.
It'll be interesting to see how that works.
It'll be interesting to see actually really how the legislature is going to start to come together, because people haven't been very focused on a lot of these new folks here. And so you've got roads, what will happen after May 5th and what the legislature will do. And then you have also the budget. They're working with the governor, or maybe not working with the governor on right now. And then if you have the governor throwing out his plans for education, not only in Detroit, but looking statewide, and that is going to have to involve them as well. So maybe one of the big headlines is going to be, how is the legislature and the governor going to work together in a lot of these initiatives?
Big picture, what you're going to see is the rift that exists between this governor and the legislators from his own party. If you look at what's going on in the House subcommittees that are looking over his budget, they're going through and stripping out all the stuff that he wanted to put in there in terms of investment. The governor's budget asks pretty aggressively for more money for things that we need to shore up in Michigan. They're going through and saying, well, we don't want to do it that way. In some cases, we don't want to spend the money. In other cases, it's that they want to spend the money differently. They want to give local governments more freedom to decide for themselves in some of these cases. That's a pretty fundamental philosophical difference between the governor and that party. And he's going to have to, over the next 4 years, figure out a way to get people who really don't agree with him to go along. It's not the same as if he had a Democratic legislature and was dealing with people in another party, but it's not that dissimilar either. I mean, there is a real difference in the way that they see things working.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's going to test his skills, and I think he's going to have to be 100% focused on dealing with the legislature, and he's going to have to finally figure out the whole horse trading element.
Right, he doesn't like to make deals.
In fairness, but in fairness, I mean, he got his agenda passed in the first term, and a lot of it involved making deals. So, a lot of the frustration and the criticism of his deal-making ability might have been misplaced. He does have a good relationship with Meekoff, in the Senate, and the Senate leader, and Cotter in the House, and that's key. I mean, those sort of relationships helped him in the first term. He'll rely on them to bring along their caucus rather than, he's not one who goes directly around them and goes directly to the lawmakers to bust legs and what have you. But, I think his ability to convince the legislature of his vision and do it early on will determine the success of that second term. And second terms aren't easy.
Oh, no, because he doesn't have to run again. I mean,
more of them are bad than are good. That's true at the governor's level and at the presidential level.
All right, so let's talk a little bit, briefly about education and when he might reveal his education plan. Nolan?
I would expect it in a week or two, a couple of weeks. I mean, he was working on this. He's got the commission's report. He would like to be able to put it out because a lot of it involves budget matters, and I think he still wants a budget done by June 1st. So he's got to put his plan out there and ask the legislature for the pieces of it that involve spending, involve more money, and have that included in his budget. So he can't wait until middle May to spring that on him. He's going to have to do it rather quickly.
All right, so we're thinking that the main headlines coming out of the year is education, roads, Detroit?
It's always Detroit and in Michigan, and of course we're in that sort of pivotal new period with the governor and the council managing on their own. There's a lot of stuff they have to do. There's a lot of stuff they need to get done. There's a lot of funding they need to get their hands on. The situation with the federal blight money running out by the end of the summer, that's for real. And if the mayor can't identify a workaround there, you're going to stop seeing as many demolitions as we've had.
And income tax revenues not meeting projections. Now, property tax revenues outpacing a little. But you know, they're going to very quickly find themselves in an upside down situation again in terms of the budget if the revenue projections don't materialize.